Okay, here I am. Hi everyone. I'm back. Might just be for one video, or I might get some more videos done. Too many people have been asking me to do a video, so I think I better get one done. And this soap literally is the most requested soap that I get. All the time people are asking if I'll show a video on how to make my Little Miss cupcake. Basically it's a loaf of soap and it has small cupcakes running through it with cupcakes on the top. Small cupcakes. And for this batch I'm going to be needing about 120 small cupcakes. So these molds here I got from B&M Bargains. I don't know if they still do them because I've had them probably 3 years and they haven't budged at all. They're still in perfect working order as though I've just bought them. They're really good quality, and as with B&M always, it's very reasonably priced as well. So that's where you'll find those if they still do them. If not, there is somewhere online that does them, but I can't remember what they're called. I have bought from them, but it's just so difficult to remember every single company that you buy from, and this would have just been a one-off buying from this company. So as you can see, I've already poured some. I did do a video previous to the beginning of this, but because I'm out of sync and out of touch, I made a mistake in uploading. I didn't actually upload the video, so this is now the beginning of the video. So I'm just going to move these around a little bit and I'll be back in a second. So we have some soap in here already mixed to trace, and what I was saying before on the previous video that I deleted by accident was when you're making a larger batch of something, you really need to do it in partitions, in separate amounts. I couldn't put the TD, the colour and the fragrance that I've put into there in here because what'll happen is it'll set or it'll get so thick that I'll struggle to pour it. So I'll just partition it up, and what I'm going to do is pour about 1 litre in here. Well, that's about 1.4 actually. Then some titanium dioxide. My TD is the type that you mix with water. Some turquoise colour, and that is a water-based colour. And also I'm going to use this. It's not just pure mei-chang, it's a mixture of 5 essential oils in this bottle. And I put about 20 mils of fragrance in there. Hoping you can see this. So we're just mixing it now. And then I always have a spoon ready that's a spatula type spoon to scrape off around the edge of the bowl, literally everywhere, because that stops you getting that fracturing effect. Okay, so now we're going to pour some. It's quite thick already actually, but it's still pourable, which that's all I want. And it doesn't matter if you slop over the sides because you can just break those off later when you unmold. Of course it's better if you don't go over the edge. So what have I been up to? Well, much of the same really. I mean, I will be honest with you, it seems to have been quieter. I mean, not much quieter, but quiet enough that I can actually have one day off a week, which has been absolutely wonderful. And now I have that, I don't want to lose it. But as usual, once May gets underway, it really gets going again. And I have got a bit of announcement coming up sometime in June. Something I'm really excited about and really honoured. So I'll be telling you that soon. I mean, it's nothing great. It's not an award or anything crazy like that. It's nothing to do with magazine. You know, it's just something small that I'm very, very honoured to have. As you can see, it is getting thicker, so all I'm going to do is just pick it up, flop it down like that, and then that flattens it into the mould.
However, Israel was still able to maintain its identity even after being removed from its homeland. Its reforming was truly a miracle and an infallible sign.
So I won't bore you with pouring the rest of these. I'll just get them poured, and then the next part of the video will pipe the tops on them. Because this is getting thick and I need to start moving a little bit faster. Okay, so we have all of our bases poured. And then for the top, we've got 3 bright colours here, all powder. I've got 3 large bowls because I've got 3 colours. And then I've mixed my TD in with the rest of the soap that's in the container. So I'm going to pour them out and split them up into 3. And then I'm going to add my colours into 3 separate jugs. So let's hope we can get all this in the camera. Now what you risk here is that the 3 different jugs set at different speeds, and that can be a real problem. So what I tend to do is let it thicken up as much as possible and then put the colour in at the last minute. Obviously it needs to be thin enough that I can mix it in properly. Not too thick, but almost ready to pipe. So I'm just going to keep an eye on those. And we'll be back in a second. Okay, it's getting thicker now, so we're just going to put some of the pink, maybe a little bit more on this one. I'm going to try and put the same quantity in each container, hoping that'll help. ready to pipe now, that, because you can't when you're piping minis, you've got to start quickly because there's so many to do that, again, you don't want it getting too thick by the time you get to the end. I really should give these a stir, but I don't think I'm going to have time. But it won't matter for this soap. And we've got a spiky tip in here. And all that I do is just take a bit of each and pop it in the piping bag. Again, the same. And then that mixes up the colours. Now we need to start piping. I wish I could show you the whole table, but the camera won't reach unless I put it right on the ceiling. Then I wouldn't be able to work it or get it down. So we'll just keep piping these until we get to the end, but the battery may run out on the camera, and then we'll get it charged up for the next step, which will be unmoulding these. Now, I meant to tell you that I do these at a 10% superfat because I want them to adhere to the soap that I'm going to be pouring onto them when I make the loaf. Of course, you can make them in any colours you like, which would be nicer than just recreating what I've done. nice to do in naturals, or red, brown and cream, or red, brown and white always looks nice. Okay, so next part will be unmoulding. Okay, so the next step when you've got all of your minis made is you need a spray bottle just with ordinary water in, and we're just going to spray all of them, and it's just to soften them up slightly so that when you put them in the mould and pour the rest of the soap on, they all stick together nicely. I've just found that this works quite well. Obviously I need to turn them around so I can spray. I'll spray the other side as well so both sides get wet. And we'll just do that all the way up. And while they're sitting soaking, you can start making your batter, and the outsides of those will be nice and soft, ready to go. Okay, so the next part, we've got all of our moulds lined up there with the liners in, ready to go. We need a large jug, and we need a jug where you can read the measurements on the side very well. Because what we're going to do is we're going to mix our batter, we're going to pour it into here, and then yeah, that's the way I'll be doing it. I'll be putting my colour and everything into the big pot, then I'll be separating it into here, putting the fragrance in, because because there's a lot of batter in the pot, it might set up too quickly, and I don't want to waste any, because with a batch of my soap I'm gonna waste at least £200 with a full batch. So I don't want to do that, so that's why I measure it separately like this and pop it in there. I'll put the fragrance in, and then for each layer in each pot I'll need to measure up a certain amount and then pour it into the mould. So I've added my lye, and I'm just going to mix that in. As you can hear, this is it's not pleasant to listen to, but it's a nice quiet mixer. It looks really dirty, but it's just damaged. It's so old. But it's lasted a long time, this one. Please Lord, let it last a bit longer, because I don't have a backup. No, it wasn't. I bought it off eBay. It was a reconditioned one. It's lasted ages.
But you have to get the socket changed, didn't you?
I can't remember. Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, it had the wrong fitting on, or the wrong plug. So I put a new plug on it. Okay, so that's about ready. I'm afraid the last clip where I was literally pouring in the bases here, it hasn't worked. So I mixed some soap, and then I put 500 mils of soap in every single loaf. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them all lengthways, because it's now time to put in the mini cupcakes onto your first layer.
When we come back, we'll be dressed in black, and you'll scream my name aloud, and we won't eat and we won't sleep. We'll drag bodies from the ground. In the video,
okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to start popping out the mini cupcakes. As you can see, we have some mini cupcakes with a round piece on the top, and then over here we have mini cupcakes without a ball on. Now the ones I'm going to put into the soap are the ones without the ball, and the ones with the ball on the top I'm going to put on top of the soap.
And then we have Beyonce's song called 7-Eleven that was released in late 2014. On the Jewish calendar, 7-Eleven is September 24th this year. It's the day after the Day of Atonement and the same day that the Foreign Minister of France pointed to as when the climate chaos would begin.
And they're nice and soft now on the outside. They don't have that hard shell anymore because the water soaked in and softened them.
I believe this is why she says 7-Eleven twice. Now let's listen.
And there's quite a few to one mould, so I won't bore you with me unmoulding all of them. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pop each little cupcake out and we're going to plop them. Remember when I said about little bits, just break them off like that. We're going to plop them in a straight line all the way down the mould so that each and every one is touching back to back. Now we will get to a point where we have to cut one in half. So the base underneath needs to be almost set. It doesn't have to be rock hard. And it'll be better if it's just a little bit soft, and then you can just push your cupcake into the layer of soap and then that'll adhere better to the cupcake. And the reason I turned them round lengthways is just so you can put them in a straight line so that you know they're right in the middle. So you're probably getting the idea now how this soap works. This is literally the most requested how-to video of the soaps I make. And while you're watching, if you're in the UK or if you are visiting this country at all, we now supply, and I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be supplying the Yorkshire Soap Company. They have 3 soap shops. One is in the city of York, and even if you don't want to buy soap, York is a beautiful, beautiful city. We went, it must have been not last year but the year before, and I walked up and down every street looking for the Yorkshire Soap Company. I didn't find it, but we had a really lovely day. It's a really lovely city, and you'll find the Yorkshire Soap Company in York at 10 Blake Street. So if you've got a sat nav, if you just pop that in to your sat nav, then you'll easily find them, which is what I should have done. And then they also have a shop in Hebden Bridge and also a new one in Leeds, which is magnificent. The owners, Marcus and Warren, they're just absolutely lovely. I know we're going to enjoy working with each other, and they're just so positive and really, really lovely, and they're doing very, very well. I'm really pleased for them. Okay, so for the end pieces, I'm just going to cut half a one to slip in the end of each one. And so the next step on this soap, these are the minis for the top of the soap, and every single one of them needs cutting into 2. So we're going to just cut them straight down the middle. And this is another reason why it's better if you do a higher super fat. I need to do a higher super fat because a lot of the shops that I supply, they need to be able to cut the soap themselves. If you want to visit the Yorkshire Soap Company, I will put the link for their web page underneath. It's an information page that gives you the address of each shop and the telephone number. And I'm hoping to get down and visit them this summer. And actually, this soap that I'm making right here is for them. So yeah, I'm going to go down there probably towards the end of the summer. And they have a fabulous shop called the Imaginarium, which is really ingenious, and they use lots of artists making all kinds of weird and wonderful things. So that'll be worth a look. I don't know if you're counting these, but there should be 54 altogether. We'll be putting 9 on each, 18 halves on each loaf. Now, the loaves that I'm showing you, they're actually a double loaf. There are 2 loaves in a loaf, as I always sell them as half of one of those because they're quite big to sell as just one loaf, and it allows people to get more variety as well. Doesn't matter if the ball comes out of the top, because when it's pushed into the soap it'll stay there. Right, so that's all of those cut. Oh no, my battery's running out now. So I won't show you the rest of this. I'll get my battery on charge so I can show you the last part. Okay? Okay, so the soap underneath, it's not quite hard enough to pour on top of. But because I've got these little lumps sticking out, I can pour it on the lumps and it'll still layer nicely because it's got something to break its flow. So it is a bit of a palaver to make this soap, I have to say. Much easier to just do a swirl soap. Swirl soaps are the quickest and easiest. But anything that you've got to layer is time consuming. So obviously you need to make sure where your points are covered. And the top layer, I don't put any colour in whatsoever. So we've got a bright yellow at the bottom, a lemon in the middle and a white on the top. So obviously, as you can see, I'm just filling it to the level of the silicone mould.